Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. So what I have for you guys today is going to be another episode of the Championship Transfer Rumour Roundup, and it has been quite a few days since I actually did the last one of these videos, and since then we've had some massive completed transfers go through and some pretty ridiculous transfer rumours which are currently floating around the Championship. So all of that will be brought to you in today's video, guys. So as always, let me know in the comments down below what is your opinion of all of these transfers currently going on in the Championship, as we've got some pretty massive names being linked at the moment. So if you do go and to enjoy the video, make sure you leave a like, it is always massively appreciated, and subscribe for regular Championship content. But apart from that, let's get into some of the completed transfers. So the first completed transfer to talk over was that of James Vaughan, who has of course signed for Sunderland. Now this was one which caught me off guard a little bit with Simon Grayson. Obviously this is the first time Simon Grayson has had, I suppose, a sizable amount of money to actually go out and spend with the club. You know, at all the other clubs he's been under quite heavy restrictions, but he's gone out with this one and bought James Vaughan, and I am a little bit surprised at this one, to be honest. Obviously he's 29 years old. He was of course recently playing for Bury in League One, where albeit he did manage to score 24 league goals for them, but his best season in the Championship was back in the 2012/13 season when he was on loan at Huddersfield. That year he managed to grab 14 goals in the Championship, and I'm just not sure what I think of this one, really. They signed him for 900k. Is he going to be a player who's going to be able to take, you know, Sunderland and lead them into a playoff charge? I don't really see that from James Vaughan, so that one surprised me a little bit. Although what I do see Grayson doing is he's getting players into Sunderland who are going to want to play for the club, and of course that's one challenge he's going to have to overcome instantly. And then the next completed transfer is just, I didn't want to be talking about this really, but of course it will be common knowledge by now that ADEN FLINT has completed this transfer to Sunderland, and I'm just not happy about this one. If you do cast your mind back around about a month or so, I did put out this tweet saying that if Preston did sign ADEN FLINT, I'd upload every day for a month, and so that won't be happening now because we've not signed him. But honestly, the writing was really on the wall. As soon as Simon Grayson did leave for Sunderland, this transfer was pretty much a nailed on one to go ahead and happen. But what's really annoyed me more than anything is the fee Sunderland have actually got this for. They managed to sign him for an initial fee of 250k. That is ridiculously cheap in my opinion. Obviously last season he was Preston's player of the season, just a phenomenal player in the Championship. Whether he'll be able to repeat that at Sunderland, it's yet to be seen, but he's a good sign for Sunderland, let's just say that. Another pretty big transfer going through in the Championship was that of Lee Tomlin, who has completed his move to Cardiff City. Now, in my opinion actually, I think this could be one which suits both Cardiff and Bristol City. Lee Tomlin, I feel like he started to stagnate a bit at Bristol City. Whether he wanted to be there or not, I'm not really so sure. I think a few questions could be asked of that. As well as that, you've also got other players at Bristol City like Martin Patterson, who started to step on his toes a little bit, and I think will come through his form really a lot better in this season when Tomlin won't be there. So they've also got 2.9 million which they'll be able to reinvest, so I think it's a good move for Cardiff. I think he could be a decent player as well. Last season he managed to go ahead and grab 6 goals for Bristol City in that playmaker role, so if they do manage to get the best out of him, he could be a good buy. Another pretty massive transfer was actually Martin Braithwaite, who has completed his move to Middlesbrough. Of course, in this transfer window, Middlesbrough have literally been linked with, I think, everyone under the sun at the moment, but they have completed this transfer. Last season for Toulouse, he managed to go ahead and grab 11 goals, and if he can transfer that into the Championship, I actually do think this will be a highly successful signing. He's not been cheap. They have signed him for a fee around £9 million, but of course with parachute payments they've got the money to spend. Leeds have also completed the signing of Aloski, and I'm not going to pretend I know too much about this guy, but from what I've actually read about him, I think he could be quite an asset for Leeds actually. He's a pacey winger who I think will give them a different dynamic going forward. As well as that, he's a Macedonia international, so of course he's got, I suppose, experience in playing in high level games, so whether he's going to be a success or not at Leeds, it's yet to be seen. He does fit into what Leeds have been going for lately, really, a lot of continental players, and like I said in one of my previous videos, whether all of these players will bed in instantly it's a bit of a risk for Leeds. One sign that I definitely think will be a hit next season will be that of Lucas Piazon, who has re-signed for Fulham on a season-long loan from Chelsea. And last season he was highly successful for Fulham and was a pretty integral part of that Fulham side, where he managed to go ahead and grab 5 goals and get 4 assists in the process. He's a very valuable playmaker who can also play out wide, can take up a number of positions in this Fulham squad. Another transfer going through in the Championship was that of Cech and Doyle, who has completed his move to Birmingham. Now he's actually coming in on a free transfer, which is a pretty good business from Birmingham, I think it's fair to say. Although he is 31 years old, and as you're about to see with some of the players Birmingham are currently being linked to, do you think there's going to be a bit of an issue this season at Birmingham with an ageing squad if Harry Redknapp does get all of his targets in? I'm really confused at the moment as to how I think Birmingham will actually do going into this season, because it's Harry Redknapp, the players he's wanting to bring on and has already brought in won't be the cheapest of players in terms of wages at the club, so how the whole dynamic's going to work with that I'm not too sure. But in terms of this guy, all that I do know about him is he is a very dominant central midfielder, perhaps technically not the best player, but definitely a very powerful player. Sam Johnson also completed the transfer. He has moved to Aston Villa on a season-long loan. I thought this was pretty important for Villa to go ahead and get their goalkeeper situation sorted out before they went ahead and moved on into the new season, and they've got Sam Johnson in. He was quite successful in their last spell at the club, so he'll be a good one for them. Dominic Iorfa has also completed the loan move. He is moving from Wolves to Ipswich on a season-long loan, and I think this will be good for him to be loaned out to another Championship club. Of course, with Wolves going in a different direction at the moment, it's, you know, you never really know how much game time these sort of players would have got, but last season at the club he managed to play 21 league games for Wolves, so for him to be still playing in the Championship will be good for his career. Another player departing Wolves, but this time it is on a permanent transfer, was that of John Daddy Bodvarsson, and a really quite a funny player, I think it's fair to say, last season for Wolves. He actually started out his Wolves career quite promising, really. I think he scored quite a few goals instantly when he came in, but the goal drought soon started to come with Bodvarsson. Only managing to pick up 3 goals last season for Wolves, which was a bit unfair. I think he worked pretty hard from what I'm led to believe up front for Wolves, but things just wouldn't click for him. But he's moved on in his career. He's moved to Reading. Whether he'll suit their style of play, their very possession-orientated style of play, yet it's yet to be seen. Of course, he'll want to take some of the pressure off Jan Kerming going forward. But do you think that Reading will be able to get the best out of Bodvarsson this season? Let me know down below. Also as well, Tom Huddlestone has completed the transfer. He's moving to Derby County for a fee of £2 million. And I mean, at this moment for Hull City, their squad, it just seems to be like an absolute fire sale with all of their players currently being linked away from the club at the moment. So in terms of Hull City, I'm really not convinced about how they'll do going into next season. I think they've only brought in 1 player so far as well, so a bit of a worrying time perhaps for them. But in terms of Tom Huddlestone, I think going to Derby is an excellent move for him. And then finally, Sammy Amiobi has completed the transfer to Bolton Wanderers. He was a free agent and he has moved there on a 1-year contract. Whether Bolton have strengthened their squad enough to survive in the Championship, I'm not too sure about. So guys, there were all the completed transfers that I've seen lately. If I have left any of them out, let me know about them in the comments down below. But apart from that, let's get into some transfer rumours. So the first set of transfer rumours is going to regard Birmingham, and Harry Redknapp is just going pretty mental at the moment with all the players that Birmingham are being linked to. Currently, they are being linked to Ashley Cole, Robbie Keane and Stuart Downing, who altogether have a combined age of above 100 years. I don't know what Harry Redknapp's intending to do at Birmingham, but do you think these players could still hit it off in the Championship? Of course, Ashley Cole, he's 36 years old, and do I think he could still do it in the Championship? Yeah, I do think he'd be a decent player, but for the amount of wages you'd actually be paying to get that, I'm not sure that transfer will be worth it. Same goes for Robbie Keane as well. When a player gets to that sort of age, he's 37 years old now. Is he going to be playing every week? No, he's not. And for the high wages that he probably demand, the risks, I'm not sure it'd be worth it. Although saying that, one player that I think could definitely still give something to the championship would be Stuart Downing, who is also being linked with a move to Birmingham. He is 32 years old, so he is considerably younger than both Ashley Cole and Robbie Keane. So I think out of all three, Stuart Downing I think could be actually quite successful in that Birmingham squad. ADEN FLINT has been quite a busy player in this transfer window in terms of other teams that have actually been linked to his services, and the latest team being linked to ADEN FLINT is Leeds United. I think if ADEN FLINT did go to Leeds United, there'll be a pretty formidable partnership at the back between Pontus Jansson and ADEN FLINT. I think those two would really hit it off as quite a successful back pair. Another centre-back being linked to a championship club is Tommy Elphick, who is currently being linked with a move to Sunderland, of course. Recently, he has fallen down the pecking order a little bit at Aston Villa with new centre-backs coming in. I mean, John Terry obviously recently arriving, so that's a transfer that I could realistically see going through. Sunderland are also being linked with a move for Ross McCormack. Quite an interesting transfer, actually, of course. Simon Grayson has actually worked with Ross McCormack in the past. They were together at Leeds, and back then he really did seem to get the best out of Ross McCormack. So this is a transfer I could see happening. Whether Sunderland will be willing to pay whatever Villa want for him, it's yet to be seen so far, but that is one I could see happening. Fulham have also reportedly agreed a fee for Diego Roland. The star has reportedly been announced as a $5 million signing, which could be coming to Fulham. And of course, Fulham in need of a striker. Obviously, they've lost Chris Martin, who has returned back to Derby, and if they were able to pull off this deal for Diego Roland, that'd be a very good move for them, in my opinion. And as well as that, Middlesbrough in need of a goalkeeper at this point in time. They're being linked with a move for Darren Randolph from West Ham United. Newcastle are also being linked with a move for his services. And then to wrap it up, we have another goalkeeper being linked to a couple championship clubs. That is actually David Button, who is being linked with a move to both Nottingham Forest and Reading. I don't think too many Fulham fans would be too sad really to see the back of David Button. Didn't really have the best of first seasons with Fulham. He seemed to be decent when he first arrived, but the more he played, the more his performances seemed to dip down really, and he was actually dropped towards the latter end of the season. So with both Forest and Reading being linked to him, he could be looking for a fresh start. So there you have it, guys. There were all the transfer rumours currently going around the championship. So if you guys have seen any other rumours currently going around the championship, make sure you let me know about them in the comments down below. Also as well, how content are you with the amount of business your club has done so far in this window? Do you think you're set for this season to come, or are you a little bit nervous that your club's not been doing enough business? So guys, if you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you subscribe for regular championship content. Make sure you check out all the other links in the description down below. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.